All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's take a look at the back to the topics, right? The link that you have provided for me. I'm just scrolling up to find them. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. So would you like for me to choose another random topic for today?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to switch from from part three to part two, right? We will interchange between part three and part two, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do like two topics from part three and then one topic from part two, and then back to part three, two topics and one from part two. Yeah, so that's the plan, okay? Let's go ahead and start with let's start with farming. Let's do farming. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so traditional farming, how much traditional farming is there now in your country?
To be honest, I'm not an expert on this topic,
Mhm,
but I would say my country relies on conventional farming practice
mhm,
and techniques. For example, you can see they still use buffaloes
mhm,
as a tool to
mhm.
um, as a tool to grow plants and
Okay.
rice,
Mhm,
as opposed to machinery.
mhm.
Yeah.
As opposed to modern machinery, right? You could say they still use buffaloes as a farming tool. You could say that. That's quite simple. They still use buffaloes as a farming tool as opposed to modern machinery. Okay. Is
Mhm.
there enough water in your country to support farming? Do you have a water shortage in your country? Some countries experience drought, and as a result, they are unable to farm. But what about you?
Fortunately, Vietnam hasn't faced a water shortage issues.
Mhm, mhm,
We have plenty of water for agriculture usage.
mhm,
Water, thankfully, has not been contaminated yet. So, yeah, but in the future, who knows?
mhm. All right, very good. In the future, what natural or man-made disasters could affect the supply of food in your country? Can you think of any, can you predict of any potential natural disaster or even man-made disaster that could negatively affect farming in your country?
Mm, Climate change is a big environmental catastrophe that likely affects our natural resources.
Mhm,
Um, as you can see, as previously mentioned, drought is a big issue.
mhm,
Climate change will likely reduce the amount of rain, the precipitation in the air. So as a result, trees and plants are likely to wither without enough water.
mhm.
Air pollution, it's also another major issue that can threaten the supply of food because fresh air is very paramount. It's very significant to provide nutritious plants. So I feel like the more polluted the air is, the fewer plants will develop, I guess.
Okay, the less, the fewer plants can grow. You could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Um, does bad weather affect the food supply where you live? In Asia, there it's known to have a lot of, tropical rainstorms, thunderstorms, monsoons. Does the bad weather affect the food supply where you live?
Yeah. Um, Monsoon in Vietnam can cause extreme floodings,
Mm-hmm.
which can drown out the plants in farming areas.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we may not have enough food because these plants, mostly rice, have been eradicated after the flood.
Okay, very good. Have been eradicated after the flood. Excellent, excellent answer. I have no negative comments about your answer. So far, so good. The grammar is on point, the pronunciation is on point, as well as the sentence structure as well. So far, so good. Okay, what are some benefits to large scale commercial farming? I think this is a mistake. This is a typo. It should
Oh,
be of, yeah. What are some benefits of large scale commercial farming? What do you think?
without a doubt, large scale commercial farming can
Mhm,
supply more food to
mhm.
people. Mm, you know, with overpopulation becoming a major issue, we face food shortage.
Mhm.
Um, so these large scale method can really help us um, to consume, I guess, to have a large demand of food, I guess.
Okay. You said this large scale methods. It should be these large scale methods, right? All right. And you could say to meet the high demands of food. All right. So these large scale methods. Okay, not this, but these, because it's plural.
Mhm.
And the second mistake I noticed, it wasn't really a mistake, but you struggled to formulate a proper sentence, right? So you could say meet the demands of. That's what you could say.
Mhm.
To meet right? In order to meet the the high demands of food, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Going to the next question. Are there any negatives of large scale commercial farming?
Mm. Even though large scale, wait, what can we paraphrase instead of this one?
Although,
I know, but large scale commercial farming, like, how
mhm,
can we paraphrase that?
I don't think there is a way to paraphrase that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
You have to use it as it is, unfortunately.
oh God.
Or you could say, although this type of farming, you could say that rather than having to repeat it again, right?
Mm,
Although this type of farming
okay.
is, yeah.
Um, Although this type of farming
Hmm.
has many advantages,
Hmm.
it can also have some negative sides to it.
So that
Like,
doesn't sound right. Let's fix that. Although this type of farming can provide numerous amount of benefits, um, the downsides of it exist. You could say that, right?
okay.
So, although this type of farming provides numerous, numerous amounts of benefits, although this type of farming provides numerous amounts of benefits, the disadvantages or the downsides do exist, right? The
Mm-hmm.
dis the disadvantages do exist.
I think another way to say it is industrial farming.
Oh, okay. Industrial farming. You could say that as well. I didn't think of that. Industrial farming. Yeah. Although industrial farming provides numerous amounts of benefits, the advantages do exist. Okay, can you please elaborate?
Um, they Well, first of all, they can be very detrimental to the environment because
Mhm,
they too often rely on pesticides and growth hormones to meet the demands of large amount of food.
mhm,
Um, these farms often release like tons of carbon emissions into the air and into the water. Um, it also it's more risky for humans to consume food from these farms because they are often chock full of pesticides and herbivores, right?
Mhm.
Herb- I don't know.
Pesticides or
I don't know. Herbicide? Herbicide, right?
how do you say it? Or herb or what?
Herbicide.
Can you type it down? Can you spell it?
Herbicide.
Pesticides or
I just messaged you.
okay,
No, that
herbicide. Yes, herbicides. Herbicides are chemicals used to manipulate or control undesirable vegetation. Pesticides or herbicides. Okay, very good. That's right.
yeah.
But it
On
has to be plural with an S.
on top of that,
Mhm,
animals on these farms are often not free range. They are often jam-packed in a very small area with
mhm,
inhumane treatment.
mhm.
So animal
Inhumane.
inhumane treatment.
Mhm,
Yeah.
very good. Here are other transitional phrases that you can use.
Yeah, I
On
know.
top of that, in addition, furthermore, moreover, very good. Inhumane, they are treated under inhumane conditions, right?
Mhm.
Treated under inhumane conditions. So it has to be inhumane, not inhuman. All
Inhumane.
right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Have you ever visited or worked on a farm?
Mm, I have made a visit to a farm before.
Okay.
It was a strawberry farm in the
Mhm,
outskirts of Hanoi.
mhm,
It was really eye-opening to see the agricultural process
mhm,
of these farmers who are very dedicated to bring the best farm to table fruits
mhm.
to our to households.
Very good. That was perfect. That was a perfect answer. I have no negative comment on the vocabulary or the grammar of that answer. Very good. How would you describe farming as a job?
Mm. I would say it is a very laborious job. Uh,
Good, good.
need dedication and lots of skill to
Hmm.
be able to provide the freshest and most competitive produce to the market.
Hmm.
You also have to be mentally prepared because the weather nowadays, because there are a lot of vagaries in the weather.
Hmm.
So these unpredictable weather patterns may or may not harm your crops.
Very good. These unpredictable weather patterns may or may not harm your crops. Very good. Very good. It's an unpredictable circumstance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you or would you like to grow your own crops? This is a trend that is happening amongst a lot of Americans, even some celebrities in Hollywood, I would dare say. They have decided to grow their own vegetables and grow their own fruits in their backyard as an effort to avoid, you know, buying any crops that are damaged or perhaps grown with chemicals. What do you think?
In my opinion, homegrown food and produce are very much preferable to me because they, like you said, free from pesticides and hormones that may be detrimental to humans' health.
Mhm,
They are often organic and you can control what you know, put in these plants. So I feel like it is a good option to have, you know, if you have enough lands and enough manpower, then yeah, why
mhm,
not?
mhm. Okay, very good. If you have an art and very good. Perfect answer. Very good. What is sustainable farming? What is your personal interpretation of what sustainable farming means?
Mm. Sustainable farming to me is the the agricultural practice
Mm-hmm.
that guarantees um, safety to the environment and to human health.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be from the seeds to the selection of seeds to the agricultural methods that are very friendly to the environment and beneficial for human health. So they often these farmings these farmers who opt in um, for these methods often say no to pesticides and other harmful chemicals.
Often refuse to use. You could say that.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right. Does farming have any negative impacts on the environment? We know about the positive impacts and the benefits of farming, of course, but what are the negative impacts?
Mm, I believe the negative impacts are mostly for the environment or for the health of humans.
Mhm.
Um, like we previously discussed, industrial farming is a very rampant model nowadays
Mhm.
that has caused hazards on the environment
Mhm.
with very toxic runoffs and uh, carbon emissions into the air. So, yeah. And other than that, some farming practice can be uh, very harmful to our health
Mhm.
because they are grown with pesticides, despite warnings from the governments, because they want to meet the high demands.
Mhm. Perfect. Wonderful. I was just trying really hard to find a mistake there, but I failed. Yeah, good job. Do you think traditional farming methods will become less popular in your country in the future?
Mm. I think it's rapidly disappearing. I think these practices are rapidly disappearing
Mm-hmm.
because they are not sustainable enough to meet the high demand of the population.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we also do not have enough manpower and labor to wield these uh, traditional methods. I mean, to utilize these traditional methods. So that's why we opt for like machinery and other advanced technology.
Mm-hmm. Very good. That's why we opt for machinery and other advanced technology. Again, no mistake. You're making my job more and more difficult because I'm trying to find a mistake, but I can't. Good job. Moving on to the next question. Do you think it's important to buy locally produced food, or do you think that it's not an issue buying imported food? What do you think?
Mm, imported food in Vietnam is quite expensive. They cost an arm and a leg
Hmm.
because there are taxes that are imposed on them
Hmm. Hmm.
to avoid competition to local ventures.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I think uh, they are quite difficult to purchase as well because there are not as many diverse options.
Hmm.
Um,
You could say because the options are limited. You could
yeah,
say that.
because the option is limited.
Options are limited.
Yeah, the options are limited.
Hmm.
Um, other than that, I think the hefty price tags also also like make people wary of them. So
Hmm.
yeah, people do not purchase them as often as locally produced goods.
Hmm. People avoid purchasing them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The options are limited, and people tend to avoid purchasing them over locally produced goods, right? People tend to avoid purchasing imported products, right? Over locally produced goods. Okay, moving on to the next question. Oh, that's it. That's the last question for farming. I'll choose another topic for part three, and then we're gonna do part two. Okay?
All right.
All right, so another topic. Have we done education yet?
No.
All right, let's do education now. School and education. How could parents and students choose the best school or university?
Say what? Sorry.
How can parents and students choose the best school or university? What should be, essential factors in the decision-making process of choosing the best school or university for themselves or for their children?
Mm, I think there are several factors that should be involved in this decision-making process.
Hmm?
First of all is the quality of the education. Um, Parents should decide on institutions that offer very high quality of education from the faculty to the infrastructure.
Mhm.
Uh, they can also they can decide that based on the rankings
Mhm.
from third-party vendors and
Mhm.
publishers.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. The next criteria should be the price. The price of the tuition is also something to be considered because a lot of institutions can be very, very expensive to attend. So
Mhm.
parents should research the tuition carefully. They can also inquire about scholarship options
Mhm.
to reduce the financial burden that they may have.
Mhm.
Um, the third option is the country of the school, the country of the school, the country that the school is based on
Mhm.
or is located at. Um, I think most most great schools
Mhm.
are in developed nations,
Mhm.
and they offer exceptional quality. They can
Mhm.
also provide an outstanding immersion experience if students want to be fluent in the languages of said countries.
Mhm. Good, good. Very good. My son just came home from school. All right. So that was a very good answer. I do not detect any mistake in that answer. How do people in your country feel about private education? So I would like for you to give me a comparison between private education and public education in your country.
Mm. The the most jarring difference between them is the price.
Maybe you could say the most noticeable difference, right?
Yeah. The most noticeable difference between them is the price.
Mhm.
Um, Private institutions are likely to be more costly to attend
Mhm. Mhm.
compared to public schools.
Mhm.
Mm.
You can mention whether or not it's worth it,
Yeah,
the
I,
extra costs. Yeah.
I do believe the extra costs are worth it in the long run because
Mhm.
private companies and individuals often invest more on the facilities and the faculty of these schools
Mhm.
because public schools are built on tax. They are they tend to be very under invested.
Mhm. Very good. Very good.
Um, the next the next difference is the quality of the education. Private schools are often superior compared to public schools, as they have more distinguished scholars
Mhm,
um, and diverse programs that
mhm,
tailor to different needs of various students. For
mhm,
example, in many private schools in Vietnam, there are programs for gifted children who want to have their own separate curriculum.
mhm,
If you are registered in a public school, you will have to study in the same class with students from different backgrounds
mhm,
and levels.
mhm,
Uh, it can be good because you may have uh, you may have to prove your ability, and but you won't see a marked improvement compared to like when you are in private schools.
Instead of saying diverse programs, you could say a large variety of programs, right?
Okay.
All right. The next question, do you think university education should be free?
Mm, mhm. I don't think it should be free
Mhm,
because faculties and infrastructures need that financial help
mhm,
to sustain in the long run.
mhm,
Um, I know that many teachers are complaining about like low salaries.
mhm,
So if they receive like none of the financial compensation for their hard work,
mhm,
they would not be motivated to pursue this career, this very precious career. Mm, Also, like infrastructure needs to be renovated like once
mhm,
in a while. So
mhm,
without a financial backing from families and private institutions, people, these schools be up, up, will not be up to standard, you know?
mhm, mhm. Would fail to meet the standard.
Mhm.
Yeah, very good. Would fail to meet the standard. Okay, moving on to the next question. Do you think it's important to encourage competitivity in children?
Mm, I think children always have a thirst for knowledge. So when however, they lack the motivation um, to achieve great things. That's why a healthy amount of competition is good to encourage them to prove their ability. Um, when they see their peers are doing better than them, they may strive harder.
Mhm. When their peers are doing better than them, they might strive harder. Very good. They
Yeah.
might contribute more effort in their studies, right?
Yeah. In contrast, if
Mhm,
parents and schools put too much pressure on them, they may crack and have some mental issues.
They might what? Say that again?
I crack under pressure.
They might crack under pressure. Okay, good. Yeah, that's acceptable. They might crack under pressure. Yeah, very good. And these are the negative aspects of competition, right? As you mentioned, cracking under pressure, right? Feeling overwhelmed because of the competitive environment. Can you think of any other negative aspects of competition in schools?
Mm, I would say with fierce competition at school,
Mhm,
uh, some institutions can fake their achievements
mhm,
to attract parents and business investors.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, they may they may not meet the standard of a good education system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, they may overlook these aspects and focus too much on the results, on these inflated results.
Mm-hmm. Very good. They might focus too much on the inflated results. All right. What are the benefits of competition? You've already mentioned that, so we'll skip that, okay?
Mhm.
Are you a competitive person?
Uh, Not really.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I'm a competitive person. In fact,
Mhm.
I procrastinate quite often. Every day I do not really meet deadlines.
Mhm. Mhm.
I do enjoy a healthy competition. I do enjoy healthy competition because I consider them a good motivator for me to excel in everyday situations.
Good. Very good. I have no negative comments about that answer. It was absolutely perfect. Do you think society will become more or less competitive in the future?
Mm. Um, Without a doubt, society will become more competitive
Mm-hmm.
as population grows and there are more qualified candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone aims for the same position,
Mm-hmm.
but there is only a limited amount of opportunities for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like everyone should be more flexible and should work harder to get what they want in life, I guess,
Mm-hmm. To achieve their goals in life.
to achieve their goals.
All
Yeah.
right. Very good. Do you think it is important to to university? Why or why not?
Mm, I would say it's still very important because
Mhm.
plenty of companies not only demand a bachelor's degree, but also a master degree
Mhm.
nowadays. So I do believe that you still need to go to university to attend university most of
Mhm.
the time.
Mhm.
Um, However, I believe there is a high demand for
Mhm.
blue collar jobs.
Mhm.
We severely lack them because most people have gone to the pathway of attending a university. So there are not enough electricians, plumbers, chefs that that can, provide excellent services for us, right?
Mhm. That can provide excellent services for us. Very good. Not that, but who can provide excellent services for us, right?
Mhm.
In your country, do people normally live with their family when they're at university, or do they move out?
Mm. In the past, people after marriage tended to live with the parents until, their parents pass away,
Mhm.
um, because they wanted to save costs and money.
Mhm.
And they also endured these generational differences between parents and themselves. Uh, Nowadays, we see a shift in in the new generation because most of them have moved out
Mhm.
after they get married
Mhm.
because they have developed more individuality.
Mhm.
They have been more aware of the troubles that may arise when they resigned with their parents.
Mhm.
So we
Very good.
see that there are more couples in Vietnam who
Mhm.
moved out of the parents' houses and perhaps rent an apartment.
Mhm. Very good. The words shift and reside were not clear enough. So,
Pronunciation wise?
yes. It took me 2 seconds to figure out what you meant.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
which
should I
is
say?
shift and reside. Reside.
Resigned.
Yeah,
Okay.
because when you said shift the first time, I thought it was, excuse my language, shit. And when you said reside, I thought you said the word resign,
Yeah, as
right?
a job, right?
Yeah. So I never made any comments about your pronunciation up till now, uh, even in our previous lessons, because you have pronounced all of the words very clearly and uh, accurately, right? So this is actually your first time, mentioning words that did not sound clear enough to me. Um, so I wanted to let you know. So when you said the word shift, at first I thought you said shit. And when you rewatch this recording, you can notice it too. And
Okay.
when you said reside, I thought you said resign.
Okay.
So
All
yeah,
right.
they were not inaccurate mispronunciations. They were just clear. They weren't clear enough. Yeah. So as a native English speaker, it took me like 2 seconds to process. Like, what did you say? Oh, she said shift. Get it?
Mm. Yeah,
But other than these two words, everything else was perfectly pronounced, including everything in the previous lessons. Okay,
oh,
moving on.
okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay.
moving on to the next question. Is there a difference in the number of men and women that go to university where you are from?
More men than women attend university.
Women,
Uh, More men than women. Women?
women, yes.
Women.
Uh-huh.
Okay. More men
So
than women.
women sounds like women. Yeah.
So I usually say woman. It's not good, right?
No, woman is singular.
So I should say women.
That's
Women.
right. That's right. Women. It sounds like a we.
Wo-
More men than women. Yes.
Okay.
Please repeat after me. Man,
Man,
woman,
women,
woman,
woman,
man,
man,
women.
women.
Again, man, woman, men, women.
Men, women, men, women.
Very good. Very good. Okay, please continue. What did you say?
More men than women attend university in Vietnam
Mhm,
because there is still a cultural, a really like outdated cultural tradition that women should
mhm.
not.
A cultural stigma, you could say that.
Okay. There is still a cultural stigma
Mhm,
that women should get married early
mhm,
instead of like pursuing a higher education.
mhm,
It doesn't happen in urban areas where the intellectual levels are higher. However, it happens quite often in the countryside
mhm. In
where you
rural areas.
in rural area where you see women uh, dropping out of high school to get married.
Mhm. Okay, we see women dropping out of high school to get married. Very good. Oh, that's sad. Not even finishing high school to get married at such a
Yeah,
young age.
yeah,
That's unfortunate. Yeah. Okay. You could say this cultural stigma still exists, right?
mhm,
This cultural stigma still exists in rural areas.
mhm.
Okay. The next question. Has there been a change in the number of people attending universities where you're from?
Mm, absolutely. There has been an exponential increase in the number of college attendees and graduates.
Mhm,
Um, Vietnam is uh, Vietnam is a developing country, so
mhm,
we are receiving more and more college graduates
mhm,
as our economy develops.
mhm,
In the past in the war, like we often dropped out of school to go into battles.
Mhm.
Um, both men and women, unfortunately, had to serve the countries to defend themselves from like other mega nations.
Mhm.
So they unfortunately did not have the opportunities to
Mhm.
pursue their education.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. They weren't given an opportunity. You could say that.
Mhm.
They weren't given an opportunity to pursue higher education, right? Given an opportunity to pursue higher education. Okay. Due to these circumstances, right?
Yeah. Can we move on to part two?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Let's go to part two. Okay. I choose a topic or you? You want to choose it.
Can you choose a topic that
Okay.
um can you choose a topic that any topic is fine, but maybe something with the past tense, like an
Past
event or
tense.
something?
Okay. Hmm.
Tell me about a time you did this and that.
I can't see any
Okay,
topics here that is related to events.
just random.
Ah, parties, events, and celebrations. Describe an event that you attended, right? What do you think?
I did that before, so maybe another.
Okay. Hobbies, interest. Describe a hobby you enjoyed when you were a child, you used to play.
Okay,
This is, yeah, okay. All right, so hobbies and interest. I give you 1 minute to think of an answer.
okay.
Okay,
Can you share with me the screen so I can see the?
the
Oh wait,
time.
I think. Let me see. Where is the screen though? Okay, let me see.
Where's what? I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm seeing a screen. Okay. Can
You
you
see the screen.
can you click on the topic so I can see the suggestions that I must include? Oh wait, number 20 something. Okay.
25. This one, right?
Okay.
Okay, so number 25. Describe a hobby that you
Okay,
enjoyed.
okay.
I'm sorry?
I will start now.
You saw it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Describe a hobby that you enjoyed when you were a child. What was the hobby? How old were you? How often did you do it? And why did you enjoy this hobby? 1 minute on the clock starts now. All right, time is up.
Okay. So today I will discuss a childhood hobby. It was bread making. I
Mhm,
in the past, when I was about 6 to 7 years old, I started making breads from scratch
mhm.
after seeing Julia Child
Making or baking? Baking would be more appropriate,
making,
right?
because I made bread from dough,
Oh, okay, okay. Yes.
flour.
Okay, okay. Continue.
Um, can you wait until I finish to
Sorry. Okay.
okay.
All right, I will.
Okay. Today, I will discuss a childhood hobby that I thoroughly enjoyed. it was bread making. I was about 6 years old when I started making breads from scratch after seeing my childhood idol, Julia Child,
Mm-hmm.
uh, an American trained chef,
Mm-hmm.
making like a loaf of Irish soda bread on TV. I was so inspired by it that I asked my mom to gather me the ingredients for the breads from our local shop. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she was skeptical at first, but she just let me do it because I insisted that I would not make a mess on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the bread was, well, the food creations that I made were really a good memory, like good memories for me because I remember the feeling of kneading the dough
Mm-hmm.
and like holding the all the bread, all the steamy hot breads. The taste was out of this world, and I remember my family was pleasantly surprised that I was able to make them as well. It was a weekly ritual that whenever I was free from schoolwork, I was just pull up my sleeves and get my hand get my hands dirty in the kitchen. I thought that it was so relaxing and it allowed me to do something from start to finish,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the creations and taste the delicious texture of the bread like just brought me so much joy. Nowadays I don't really make breads anymore because I'm very occupied with my work, but I
Mm-hmm.
still enjoy a good loaf of bread from the nearby French bakery,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Okay, very good. From the nearby French bakery. That was a really good answer. You included all of the necessary details. I apologize for interrupting you earlier.
Mhm.
I did, as you were talking, I did make one small correction. Instead of put up my sleeves, it should be roll up my sleeves.
Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, everything else was good. All right. Another part two.
Yeah.
Game, sport. What do you think?
Mm,
Describe a competition you were participated in. That
okay.
sounds good. Okay. All right. So describe a competition you participated in. You should say what the competition was, who was involved, any moments that stand out, and how did you feel once it was over? You have 1 minute to prepare your answer, starting now. Okay, time is up.
I would like to describe the cooking competitions that I was participating in when I was 9 years old. It was a competition that resembled MasterChef Junior, where we have to battle each other out one ver one
Mhm.
versus one,
One-on-one. Mhm.
one on one. And the judges were definitely very prestigious. They were highly trained chefs from Vietnam and France.
Mhm.
I remember the crowd was cheering, and the judges were just looking very intimidating to us kids.
Mhm.
Um, we had to make a soup that that is healthy and delicious.
Mhm.
I remember I was struggling to come up with the ideas because I had never made a soup before in my life, and I was having so much. I wasted so much time to gather ingredients, and my mom on the outside looked worried for me as well. Um, After that, I executed the dish by chopping the ingredients, cooking them in low heat, and blending them in a processor. Thankfully, I didn't crack under pressure because the crowd erupted in cheer when the judge announced the end of the competition.
Mhm.
I was unfortunately I came in third place.
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't feel disappointed in myself. I felt intense relief because it was over.
Mhm.
It was a good learning experience for me because from that day on,
Mhm.
I made more soup and I definitely learned how to enjoy the process more.
Mhm. Very good. I learned how to enjoy the process more. Very good. All right.
Yeah.
One little mistake that I corrected. The sentence, I would like to describe the cookie competitions that I participated in when I was a child. Your sentence was a bit incoherent.
Okay.
Yeah. And one-on-one. You struggle to find the appropriate phrase, right? So it
Mhm.
should be one-on-one. Okay, since we have 5 minutes left, would you like another part two topic or go back to part three?
We can do another part too.
Okay, another past topic, all right?
Yeah.
Describe something in the past. Okay. We already did this one decision. Important advice.
Bias is fine.
Advice? Okay. Tell me an important piece of advice you were given. You should say when you received the advice, where were you, who gave it to you, and if you followed the advice.
Whew. Okay. Let's
Mhm.
see.
Okay,
Mhm.
time's up.
Um, when I was about 7 years old, I was bullied by um, this girl at school relentlessly. And I remember an advice that my teacher gave me was that you should never fight back like violently. Instead, I should just um, report any incidents that she inflicted upon me, any
Mhm.
pain that she inflicted upon me.
Mhm.
I definitely found it hard to keep my temper whenever someone treated me horribly.
Mhm.
I refrained myself so much from punching her and, resorting to violence to deal with this bully. In elementary school, it was wild because at my school, kids were very unruly. They often played truant and they never listened to teachers. So I was similar to that. At first I didn't listen to this teacher. I thought that violence would solve everything. So after hearing my suggestion, my after hearing that what I would do to her, the teacher set me down and told me to resolve things with her very like in a very civilized manner.
Mhm.
So from that point on, I had reported the incidents with the teacher very diligently. These acted as receipts because the bully was quickly expelled after just a few months. I realized that she not only did that to me, but also to other kids as well. So I thought the teacher taught me a valuable lesson that, violence is never the way to
Mhm.
resolve matters. And it's definitely an advice that I would hold dear to my heart.
Mhm. It's an advice that I would hold dear to my heart. Excellent. I did not notice any mistake in your answer. Everything was well said. The pronunciation, the vocabulary, as well as the grammar.
Okay,
All
awesome.
right. Very
I
good.
I thought I didn't use a lot of like diverse grammar structures.
Well, to me, I prioritize the most of the grammar structure itself, the accuracy of the grammar structure, not the diversity of it, but the accuracy of it.
Okay.
What I believe should be diverse is the vocabulary, not sounding repetitive. Avoid repetition and not saying the same things over and over again. For example, transition words or transitional phrases. Instead of saying in addition multiple times, right? You can interchange that. You can try other transitional phrases instead of in addition to or on top of that. I noticed that you say on top of that a lot, and that's why I advised you to try other transitional phrases.
Mhm.
Like where was it?
Mhm.
Moreover,
Yes.
furthermore, yeah, right. Moreover, furthermore, in addition, um, and not just on top of that. So you can avoid sounding repetitive. So I value accuracy when it comes to grammatical structures and diversity when it comes to vocabulary.
Okay.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation, Maya. You did a really good job in answering the questions. Um, so in the next lesson, what is the plan? Part two once and then part three once?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
okay. All right,
Okay.
that's a good idea. So that we can do as many part two as much as possible, right? Okay. So we'll start with part three and then we'll go to part two and then part three and part two and interchange between the two. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you too. You have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye. Take care.